Oh, she wants to be famous. Official cat of NorCal cycling.
We're in Fort Worth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's bad. Yeah, here in St. Louis, it's like 5 degrees right now.
What
But
do we got here?
the city does a pretty good job of getting the snow off the roads and whatnot.
Oh, I got you beat, Stefan. We're at a toasty 20 degrees today.
Oh, nice. Yeah, how's it warmer up there?
You don't know. I will say, though, that with the window open and all the white snow, makes the lighting in here look better.
Let me get the...
Sound fine to us.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Oh, maybe. Let's do it. Huh.
Huh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We can hear you. Can they hear us?
Can you guys hear anything? Greetings from Poland. Far away. Oh, it's 17.
Jeff, you're the star of the show. Can't even hear your beautiful voice. Can y'all hear us? Or is it
We
just
can
Jeff?
hear you. Oh.
Yeah, okay, they can hear us, but not you, Jeff.
You just have to relay what you're saying. Maybe try like disconnecting the microphone and then reconnecting it. I don't know. YouTube, but not Jeff. Now I can't hear you. Can you hear him? Yes.
I'm gonna adjust my camera a little bit.
You want to relaunch the workout?
Is it maybe something in the in the OBS. Okay.
I'm not seeing anything. That's true. Not be capturing the auto output. Well, I guess this is tell some jokes if you got them right now.
Wait, that might have done it. That might have done it. Can people hear me now?
Can y'all hear Jeff? Well, I guess if they can, they would answer.
Hopefully that did it. Hello? I think there's like a 10-second delay.
Yeah.
We can hear you. Yay!
Sweet.
Technology. Yeah, it was an OBS, and it was on default device, and that's always how it's been. I haven't changed it.
Right.
And then I went back in, and then I just forced it to go from default device to my actual microphone, which apparently is no longer the default device. Okay. Hey, welcome, guys. Let's do the intro again. Just imagine I had the best intro ever, and it was super exciting.
It was pretty good.
Everyone who rewatches this video is going to just watch the first 30 seconds and be like, peace out, this is boring. It's just three guys riding their trainer. Success. Yes. All right, hit me with some questions then. Do we have any so far?
Well, I think a lot of people are like curious why the power is so low for these sessions. And just to reiterate it, just so we can talk, I think we're all doing training plans outside of this session here.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this is outside of our normal training, and this is so we can talk, and also because it's not. This isn't like part of our training. This is just more endurance, which is fine. I'm turning my fan on.
This fit nicely into my recovery week, though.
Oh, first person asked, "Where's Logan?"
Yeah. So I did talk about this already, but I was on mute the entire time apparently. So Logan is not on today's stream because he's getting a bike fit. Pretty excited about that. And we're going to talk about that in an upcoming episode. And I realize I am behind. I was up late last night really pushing to try to get episode 4 on the channel. I couldn't quite get it in time, but I'm right there. I'm real close. So I'll have episode 4 up here pretty soon. I have a really busy day today, but hopefully in the next day or two, I know I said that before, but hopefully in the next day or two, I'll have episode 4 up. I'm really excited about it. I'm putting a lot of time into the edit on episode 4 because I'm proud of it and I want you guys to enjoy it, so that'll be up soon.
Sweet.
Oh, a lot of questions.
Someone asked like really early, is ETAP worth the money? Sorry, ETAP.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, once you go electronic, whether it's SRAM or Shimano, it's really hard to go back. The wireless part is like cool. It's easier to set up, but I would just say any electronic shifting is better than mechanical shifting if you can afford it. Not ever having to replace shifter cables is amazing.
Thoughts on UCI banning the super tuck and forearms on the bars?
Oh, so the reason I have a busy day is I'm going to go record a video today about that subject. So right after this, I'm going outside, which answers somebody else's question, which answers Where did it go? I lost it. Yes, I'm going outside today to do some efforts and also to record a video about Super Tuck. Excited to share my thoughts on that. Oh, there it is. Outside ride today, or just pet it and chill? FTP updates. We're gonna do, we decided, I spoke with Logan yesterday. For those of you who just joined, Logan is not on today's stream, as you can see. He is getting a bike fit. So I'm excited about that. But that means he won't be on today's ride. And we did decide that this time next week is the ramp test. So, so we'll see how that goes.
Solid.
Yeah. Mentally start preparing for it now.
Seriously.
Logan has been bumping his workouts up so high that it's like, okay, his was scheduled on his TrainerRoad plan for the 24th, which is a Wednesday, but as you guys know, he's a Texan, I'm a Californian, we're in different time zones, and we're both busy dudes. So the only way that we can both do our ramp test is if it's a weekend. That's the only time we can match schedules. So I decided earlier is better than later because he's already overdue. He's been bumping his workouts up so much.
Yeah, I've seen his Strava reports and it's just like 15-20% up.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we're gonna fix that, and we're gonna do a ramp test this time next week. And I'm gonna turn red as a tomato and on a live stream.
Seriously.
Have you decided like everyone going at once, or are you gonna try to stagger it?
I think I'm gonna do 2 groups of 2.
Okay.
But I'm not positive yet. But I think I'm gonna do 2 groups of 2, and see if I can figure out how to like have that make sense on the live stream. Because then it would be, people won't have to sit around for an hour and a half to see each person go individually.
Yeah.
It'll still be like a 45-minute stream or something, and then we'll get some encouragement from each other in the 2 groups.
Yeah, it's going to be entertaining. And that way not everyone's suffering at the same time.
Let's see. Yeah, if you email me, I'll try to get back to you. Today was a little bit scrambled. Sorry if you emailed me and I didn't respond. But I'm going to try to get more people on the live streams in the future. So just stay patient. My apologies if I didn't respond to your email. Maury, why don't you send me an email, and I'm going to see how I want to do it. But if I have your name, then I'll know if I want more people on the stream or not. I don't want to overcomplicate things. I might do 2 groups of 3 or something. I'm still trying to work that out. But yes, it is open to join, but you have to email me, and that's how I share the code for the live stream.
So do you have any thoughts on, I mean, I feel like I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm asking anyway.
Thank you.
Because cycling kit is obviously pretty expensive. And I've looked on my Amazon stuff, you can get stuff for pretty cheap. Have you ever tried any of those cheaper kits?
I've had bad clothing. I don't know if they were cheaper or not, but I've had bad clothing on teams who just had bad like clothing sponsors. And that's a subjective thing, right? Because it might fit somebody else really well. It just didn't fit me really well. And it's pretty miserable. So if I were doing the cheap route and then like the not name brand stuff, I would order like 1 item, or like maybe like 1 bib, 1 jersey, and then see if it fits you. Because clothing's one of those things. It's like shoes or helmets or whatever else. What might be great for you would be terrible for somebody else. So before committing hundreds of dollars, just buy like one item, 1 complete set, and see how you like it. Always loose fitting. Yeah, it might be loose fitting. I would go for something that is called like race cut or race fit or aero fit. You know, different people have different names for it, but you don't want flappy. And it's not just because it doesn't look cool or because it slows you down, both of which are totally true. It's because it's less comfortable. And if you have like baggy shorts, then you're gonna get like blisters where you don't want blisters.
Yeah.
Looks like you're getting a lot of comments about that question too. People are not endorsing the Amazon stuff.
The Amazon kits are horrible, especially the hips.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I bought one just because I figured it was cheap enough. I would experiment with how bad it is.
V2 Garmin asking about nutrition. I guess my video about nutrition was like controversial in some weird way, so I'll try to summarize that again. Even on recovery rides, you see William's going for it right now. So is Stefan. This is full of sugar. I'm only pushing 200 and something watts right now. I am still gonna eat 60 grams of sugar, at least on this ride, depending on how much I talk. I might grab some chews, which I have right here on the table in front of me. And here's why. I am not just thinking about fueling this ride. It's also about getting those carb stores for the rest of your day and for the next workout. I'm gonna go out and do more work after this. But even if I weren't, you have to fuel the rides because I did some very simple math, very accurate, but very simple math in the nutrition video I did in the Couch to Crit series. And as long as you're pushing over 100 watts, which everyone is doing when they're riding their bike, 100 watts is not very much, then you are working at a deficit because our gut can only take in so many calories, so many carbs. So it can only take in about 100 watts worth. Anything more than that, you're going into a deficit. So you have to fuel your rides to maximize performance, even on Pettit. I know it doesn't seem intuitive, and you'll be thinking to yourself, oh my God, I'm just gaining weight for no reason, but that's not true. All you're doing is replenishing, and you're not even replenishing at the same rate you're burning. So hopefully that makes sense.
Some people are calling you out, Jeff, saying only 200 watts.
Oh, I didn't mean to sound like a D-bag there. As long as it's over 100, I guess. If it's over 100, then you're going to be burning more calories than your gut is capable to take in, probably even less for most people just getting into this sport. If you're riding at 70 watts or something, you're going to be burning more calories than your gut's able to take in. So just think about it that way. Jeff, can you make your screen bigger? No, I'll just be introvert here in the corner. People asked me that before too. Like I got some comments outside of the internet, in real life, where people were like, yeah, I tuned in to your live stream and was on your channel, and I was like, oh, where's Jeff? Is he not doing this? Yeah. And I realized I am like the smallest little box in the corner, but they can hear my voice. So
I guess that's probably just with who is hosting the meeting, the group workout.
Yeah. Yep. Jeff, what's your best 25-mile time trial? It's not something I do. I don't even think it's something I've ever done. But I don't have a time trial bike, first of all. So Randy, you must be new to the channel. I am not a time trialist. I think the better question is like, what is my not 25-mile time trial, but what is my best 25-second power? That's the more appropriate question. I would say, like, if I want to answer that honestly, though, I could probably do it in less than an hour. If I really want to do it like a flat 25-mile time trial, but it's just not something that interests me or I'm good at. Ooh, a lot of questions coming in. Thanks, guys.
Smallest box, biggest watts.
Yeah. Any questions standing up for you guys?
Well, one easy from John Walker asking about following on trainer, what workouts you're doing. So we're all following TrainerRoad, and at least I did Plan Builder, and I think we're all at different stages of that. But basically, that's where everything is laid out.
Yeah, it's all about the virtual coach that TrainerRoad offers. Like, you can just set up a plan, medium volume, sweet spot, base 1. And then it just gives you all your workouts like it's a coach. And then if you're using Plan Builder, it goes even one step further, and it's like, oh, you have a target event 3 months from now. Cool. Let me tailor make a workout specifically for you. Or, oh, that sucks, you missed a couple of workouts. Let me adjust your plan. So it is constantly adjusting based on your past and future performance to target a certain event. And that's what you're paying for with TrainerRoad. And by the way, guys, it's like not that much money. If you look at the rates for like a coach, it's like an order of magnitude more, right? So I think it's a great place to get started. And even if you've been doing it for 10 years like me, I use TrainerRoad too. It's a great platform. Like, I wouldn't endorse it if it wasn't. Like, that's my kind of my policy on the channel. I'm not going to try to sell you guys something that I don't believe in. So, just to make that clear.
TrainerRoad has, like, some of their ads are so funny. They're like the cost of carbon wheels versus the cost of a year of TrainerRoad and the gains you get for each of them. So, their marketing team knows what's up.
Yeah. Wait, let me guess the conclusion they reached.
Right.
No, it's true though, and I echo the same sentiment on my channel all the time, because people fall in this trap of equipment. By the way, that's the video I'm working on. Episode 4 is about equipment. So I have a lot of thoughts on equipment, and I kind of get into that topic for about 30 minutes. So be prepared for this next episode. It's about 30 minutes long, but I can't cut it down anymore. I realize a lot of people don't like long videos, but all of it needs to be in there. So that's the next episode that's coming out.
Yeah, I think, like, especially for newer riders, there's a temptation to just, buy your way to more speed via faster bike or lighter wheels or whatever. But I mean, at the early levels, I'd say that equipment does not matter that much. It's all training.
Yep.
Granted, I haven't done much racing. So.
No, totally. That's the message I put out on this episode coming up, which is, there's all this other stuff. Equipment is a part of the sport, but the difference between a really high-end $12,000 bike and a low-end $2,000 bike is not as much as people think. It's not like you're going to get on the $12,000 bike and immediately start winning all of your races. That's not how that works. Early on, when you're getting into the sport, it's about training and nutrition and really becoming an endurance athlete through all these other factors. And you get way better bang for your buck if you invest in things like, proper nutrition, a training plan like TrainerRoad or a coach or however you want to tackle that. And equipment only makes sense once you've kind of exhausted those other opportunities. Like if your training is just dialed and your nutrition is just dialed, you can't lose any more weight. That's when you start looking at things like, oh, if I upgrade these wheels, I will be 2% faster. Well, at a certain point, that 2% makes a huge difference. Look at the World Tour guys. The difference between the premier world-class Chris Froomes of the world and then the guys you've never heard of that are leading him at the bottom of the climb is like 2% or even less. So the difference is small when you get to that really upper echelon of the sport. But lower down, if you're just getting into the sport, you don't need to spend all your money on this fancy bike. And I realize the temptation, and by the way, the sport is fun, and it should be fun, and if that's what motivates you, that's what motivates me, then get that cool piece of equipment and enjoy yourself. But don't hold your breath and think that it's going to solve whatever racing problem that you're having, because it likely won't. It's just a tool, and you have to use that tool. So it comes down to you.
Let's be honest though, Jeff, we all know that Chris Froome is winning because he's on rim brakes, right?
Oh, that's right, yeah. Oh, I love that debate.
God.
It's just never ending. It's like, well, disc brakes have been out for years.
Man, I gotta lower this. My heart rate's too high.
You know, one good argument I've heard, disc versus rim. I favor disc brakes. They perform better. If you take care of them, they're fine. The weird thing to me with rim brakes is just you buy a fancy pair of wheels and you're literally just frictioning away the brake track, and they're like on the clock once you buy them. It's very bizarre. Whereas you can just replace a rotor, cheap. But anyway, one compelling argument I've heard is they should mandate UCI races, let's say. This won't make sense locally, but they should mandate UCI professional races to either all be rim or all be disc. Because the problem when you have a mixed field of rim and disc brake riders in a pro peloton, they'll all become screaming down a hill on a rainy day, let's say. Let's make an extreme example. Half the field is slowing down more slowly because they're on rim brakes. Half the field is slowing down more quickly because they're on disc brakes, and that's chaos. So if everyone's slowing down slowly and they're on rim brakes in the rain, it's not that big a deal because you can only slow down so fast. But it's when you have riders like running the back of each other because it's a mixed field. That's when it doesn't make sense. So, they seem to be focused on the super tuck, and they seem to be focused on the fake time trial position. But I think there's like other things. If their idea is safety, I think there's better ideas.
I like Tygo's comment. Just don't brake.
Yeah. Or better yet, just don't climb. That's my approach.
You never go up, you don't have to go down.
Flat, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. So I'm making, I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. I'm making a video today about the super tuck. And what I keep coming back to is like, I don't even really have a dog in this fight because I don't descend. You first need to climb to descend, and you need to descend to super tuck. And it's like, yeah, I don't really have a dog in this fight. Rim brakes are better at everything but braking. It's just like anything else. I mean, I went from the aforementioned mechanical group set to an electronic group set, and there's a learning experience. How do I install this thing on my bike? How does the battery work? Wires, like that seems weird. It's internally routed. It's all a brand new experience. Yeah, connecting it to my app, like it's a whole thing. And mechanical is easier in that regard because I was used to just changing. I just knew the routine. Changing the cables and whatnot. And same can be said with brakes. Like, yeah, rim brakes are easier to maintain. How much of that is because they're easier to maintain because I'm used to it? And how much of it is because they're actually easier to maintain? I mean, now that I understand disc brakes, if something weird happens and one of the, it starts rubbing, one of the pads starts rubbing or whatever, like now I know how to deal with the pistons, how to deal with the pressure of the hydraulic fluid, how to deal with bubbles and how to bleed. And like, guys, it's not as complicated as most people make it seem.
Oh, that's interesting. For Cat 5, what's the minimum specs for your race bike?
Minimum specs for a Cat 5 race bike? Well, there aren't any. Like, they won't turn you around. But I know that's not what they're asking. They're asking for my opinion. My opinion is you should watch this episode I'm coming out with because I talk all about that specific topic. But let me give you a sneak peek. I started on a 2009 Roubaix, Fuji Roubaix that was less than $1,000. I think it was like $600 or something. And it was an aluminum bike. And it was kind of a piece of crap looking back, but I didn't need a fancy bike. And I catted up to Cat 2 on that bike that most people would consider a piece of crap. So it didn't hold me back. I spoiled myself once I got my Cat 2 upgrade, and I bought the Frankenfelt, which has since been replaced also. But I don't know. You don't need to spend more than $1,000. You can if you want, but I don't think you need to. You know what I would get? I would go to like the Specialized website or the Trek website, Cannondale, all the major brands have some version of this bike. It is like a $1,200 aluminum frame, Shimano Tiagra or 105, and that is going to be more than enough at a really cheap price. You get a lot of good trickle down. We lost William's video. I think he'll be back. Oh, and he's doing a ton of power.
Yeah. Have you used? Go ahead.
Calibrating the trainer. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, go ahead, Stefan.
I would say when I was looking around at bikes, I used this website I think it's called 99 Spokes or something like that, and it has a pretty good comparison tool where it'll compare the price point and spec level of all different bikes. So if you're looking at a certain price point, you can find what it argues the best spec level for that price point is.
Oh, that's pretty cool. No, I haven't heard of it. I'll have to check it out. That's a good topic, though. Thanks for bringing that up. So 99 Spokes apparently is a pretty good tool to answer that question. But I think you can get a lot of bike for your money, even at that $1,200 range. If you're cash strapped, you're young, you're just getting into the sport, that's where I would start. And that bike can get you to the P12 field.
Yeah, I mean, I have this really old Track 1000, and honestly, I would continue to use it other than it's just way too small for me at this point.
Aren't you like 6'3" or something?
Yeah, I'm 6'3".
Holy moly.
Yeah, Ace says, my aluminum Cannondale with 105 was new for $900. Like, that's awesome. 105 is good. Like, that's a Shimano group set that is third tier, so it goes Dura Ace, Ultegra, then 105. The 105 of 2020, 2021, whatever model number that is, I don't know offhand, that is better than Dura Ace like 4 years ago, probably. Like, it's amazing how quickly all of these group sets advance. Go ahead, Stefan.
There's an interesting question, and I hope I say it right. But I think he's asking if you're going 30 miles an hour, on a new trainer versus, like a training bike or a race bike, how many watts are you saving just to do the same speed? Do you have any idea for you?
Let me check. I don't know. Not as much as you think. So there's another website, geez, I'm not going to remember the name of it, where you can plug in, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, you can plug in like your weight, your bike's weight, atmospheric conditions, road angle, wind direction, all this stuff, and you can figure out how many watts do I need to go a certain speed. And that won't be super accurate, but I think it'll be close enough. And you'll be surprised to find that, the equipment part of it isn't really a factor. It is, but it's not as much as people think. So I don't know how much it's saving you. That's one thing I wish we did. I made a video that kind of answers your question. If you go back maybe 3 months ago, where I compared the Tarmac SL7 with the Tarmac SL6.
That's a good video.
Yeah, one is like whatever it is, it's stupid, it's 13 grand or something. The other one is also expensive, but more reasonable. It's, I think, $2,500, something like that. And yeah, the SL7 won, which I was kind of bummed about. I wanted David to beat Goliath. And one thing I wish we did was go back out and then do a run and try to match the same speed using like a Strava, live segment or whatever it's called, where I can follow my avatar and see how many more watts it would have taken. But it was a while ago now. It was like, was it a minute fast, 2 minutes faster, something like that? Over 30 minutes? Yeah, so what is that? It was like a few percentage points. So let me put that number in perspective. If you are just getting into racing and you get out in the draft when you're not supposed to and you're not getting a good draft in a race, that is like a 20% difference in energy savings. So if you're splitting hairs over like a 3% because of equipment, you better be sure you're not making strategical mistakes in the race, because you'll throw away that 3% and a whole lot more. So that's that's something that you have to consider when you're thinking about spending, a bunch of money on equipment. Bike calculator, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you,
Alfie. Interesting you mentioned that too, because someone Tygo put a Dura-Ace Tegra minus 50 grams. So I don't know how accurate that is, but it's...
Well, that might be accurate in terms of the weight, but then people talk about longevity and people talk about like how smooth the shifting is and stuff like that, which is pretty subjective. Ultegra's great. Like, Ultegra is more than enough. Dura-Ace you pay a big premium for because of that name. And 105 is, I think if you, that might be a good video idea. Go out and ride. I'm not allowed to look down at the group set, but I can shift all I want, and I can go on a ride and see if I can tell the difference between the three. I think you'd be hard pressed to.
That'd be interesting.
For the feel part of it, right? Like I could just weigh the group set and tell you what the difference is there, but for the actual feel, because I know there's an argument people make that it feels more premium. Yeah, Best Bike Split is another one. I think that's the premium version, twin turbo. Bike calculator, I think that's the name of it. Like Alfie said, you can figure out how many watts you need to push to go a certain speed.
Yeah, I see that too, that GCN did a similar video. I don't know if they did it with like the current stuff, like the Dura-Ace 9000, Ultegra 8000, and the 105 7000. I think that's the series.
Of course, GCN did it. It's like Simpsons did it joke, right? It's like there's an episode of Simpsons that covers this topic.
or South Park too.
or any other topic really.
I had to take a break. I don't know what it is. So I got my COVID vaccine yesterday.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
dude, I think
you're not feeling it.
I'm not feeling it.
Oh.
Also, I was going to mention this to ask you guys too. My stages is like not working all of a sudden. Calibrate. Like it was I calibrated my kicker yesterday, and I was holding 100 watts, and my stages was reading like 600. I was like, I'm not that strong.
Dude, structured training works. I'm telling you.
But yeah,
did you install it yourself?
What?
So did you install it yourself?
I installed it myself, but then a couple weeks ago I got a new bottom bracket on my bike. So I had to take the cranks off to throw on the new bottom bracket. Because I have a press fit, and I was going to a thread together bottom bracket.
Take the battery out, and then put the battery back in if you haven't tried that already. Like a hard reset.
We'll turn it off and turn it on again. Trick.
That's always my
that's
my
what you were
solution.
talking about earlier.
And then if that doesn't work,
it was higher.
If that doesn't work, the Stages people. I've worked with a lot of people in the cycling industry, and Stages is top notch. So if you reach out to them, they'll get you fixed up right away.
Yeah, I put in a support ticket, so hopefully I'll get it sorted. I'm not too worried about it, but man, I think the COVID vaccine did me in for at least a little bit.
Don't ride anymore. Just chill.
Was that your first one or your second one?
First one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lower the power way down and just try and spin.
Hey, Trick Bros.
100 watts.
Go ahead, William. Sorry.
I was just saying I'm lowering my watts. 100 is a break even, so I think I can do that.
There you go. And now just eat a bunch of bars and gels and stuff. Let the haters hate. There you go.
Exactly.
Trick Bros, thoughts about Di2? Yeah, I touched on this earlier. Be careful, because once you go electronic, you never go back, because it's that much better. I was a late adopter. It's been around for a long time. You don't realize how time flies, but it's been around for a long time. And I got Di2 in late 2017, early 2018, and I haven't used a bike mechanical since. This bike is mechanical, but it lives on the trainer. I never shipped it. And yeah, you don't have to worry about changing derailleur cables. It's amazing. Perfect shifting every time.
Yeah, I got really lucky when I upgraded road bikes like 8 months ago. I got a used Focus full carbon in Di2 for like $850. not to flex, but it was. It's a Di 210 speed, but
don't matter. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, your winter bike should feel similar. That's Robert Tracy is asking, should your winter bike feel similar to your race bike in position? Also, is the turbo good for adjusting position? I don't really know what you mean by is the turbo good for adjusting position. I think anything you're training on should have the same position. Yeah, if you're like, I can make more power if I bring my stem up to here, well, then you go out to race day and you're using a different muscle group. So it's going to feel weird and you're not going to hit the same power target. So train like you race, right? So all your bikes should have as close to identical positions as possible. And I do a lot of my workouts down here like this, because even when I'm inside, I'm looking like a dork and my wife gives me crap about it. But this is how I race, and when I ride outside, I want to be fast. So I try not to get in the habit of just sitting here on the tops, unless it's a Saturday morning I'm chatting with you guys, then I sit up here, just goof around.
Yeah, and then in the TrainerRoad workouts, there's even sections or whatever, they say get in like the aero position. I find that stuff pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Especially like the breaking up of the pedal stroke into quadrants helps a lot.
Hey, DJ, this question's been asked a few times. My thoughts about the super tuck and time trial position ban. I'm actually going out as soon as this live stream is over, and I'm doing some science and I'm sharing my thoughts. So I'll be making a video about that soon. And I'm gonna leave you on a cliffhanger. Yeah, what's interesting? What do you got?
This question from also Stefan. Good morning, guys. Everybody in the chat from good morning from Australia. What do you guys think is the next dirt race gen really going to be? Wireless like SRAM ETEP? But here's what's interesting. No matter what, if they go wireless or not, is I heard about rumors of 105 Di2, and I feel like that is the more interesting way that they might go.
More like a consumer Di2 version.
Yeah, something that doesn't cost $2,000 for a new group set or something for electronic shifting. That I think is going to be interesting.
I get that.
As someone adopted Di2 and has looked at the price of replacement parts in case anything ever broke.
Yeah, I would be more excited to see something that's more available to get people onto Di2.
Yeah. Is there any issue using a carbon frame with a wheel on trainer? I do it. Maybe it's not good for my frame, but I'm also not trying to do big sprint efforts and trying to move the bike. I feel like that's not good for it, but I don't know. I feel like carbon fiber is pretty robust as long as you're not moving it in weird directions.
Yeah.
Now, I think for me, the next thing I'd like to get is just like an old frame to put on the trainer that fits me perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, because currently my bike on the trainer is way too small for me. Lost my camera.
Yeah, that's how my BH, which is underneath me right now, that's how this bike has been. I got it as a commuter bike, and then it became a rain bike, and now it's a trainer bike. But always it's been a replacement bike just in case, I crash out my actual race bike. It is a capable race bike by itself. But otherwise, it goes out on rainy days, and it sits on the trainer otherwise. And it fits me like a glove. It's the same exact geometry. Coming back to that previous question about, about your position, I get all my bikes dialed the same exact way.
I meant to ask you, Jeff, because I know you mentioned that in a couple of your videos, like the SL7 versus SL6 that you've been dialing in the positions. What things are you adjusting? Because I'm assuming you got a bike fit and have all your measurements that you look to dial in between bike to bike, especially being different brands like the BH or Specialized or whatever else you have.
Yeah, so I had a professional fit, but it was years ago, and I should probably have another one if I wanted to be really precise about it because our bodies change. So you can't rely on a bike fit from years ago, but that's what I do. So I got like a legit fit. It was a retool fit, so they put the sensors on your body and they measure your position and they give you this really detailed report. So I have that in my back pocket, but honestly, I've been doing this for a long time and I know my position pretty well. So the first thing I'll do is I will just adjust a new bike until it feels right, and then I will confirm it with that spec sheet. And actually, I'll probably confirm it with my other bike and just make sure before I even have to reference the report that I got from the bike fitter. So if I'm like, the bars feel a little bit higher or something, I'll lower them a little bit and then I'll measure it against my race bike and make sure that they're the same.
Twin Turbo said, are you going to discuss bike fit on the upcoming episode with Logan? He said he's getting it today, so isn't the next episode going to be equipment, right?
He's literally getting his bike fit as we speak. That's why he's not on the live stream.
Nice.
But we will be talking about, I think I have the next episode idea put together. I think what I'm going to do next is, so I have equipment that's ready to go in the next day or two. I'm real close to finishing that one. And then the one after that is going to be like getting outside. Because we've been talking a lot about indoor workouts. And I want to talk about getting outside and bump drills and form on the bike and some drills you can do in a group when you feel it's safe to ride in a group. I'm going to have Logan do some cool drills that I was taught when I was just starting that are super helpful, how to navigate in a bunch, because you can have all the watts in the world, you guys, and have this crazy FTP, but if you're not able to navigate a field, like it doesn't mean anything. So there's certain things, and I'll get into it in the episode, but like, you know, move your way from the back of a peloton to the front of the peloton as quickly as possible without touching the wind. So just follow wheels and just surf the group, and don't be reckless about it either. And then move your way back. That one's easier. Move your way back, and then move your way to the front of the group, and then move your way back, and just navigate, be comfortable getting to the front of a field, because there's that moment in a race, say there's a preem lap, a prize lap in a crit, and you want to contest it. Well, you got to get up in position, and you don't want to spend all your bullets doing that. Say there's a crosswind section coming up, say there's a hill coming up, you want to efficiently navigate the group, and that's a really important skill for success.
Yeah, I'll say, like, I went out with a buddy of mine and we were just trying to go get some segments on Strava, and we're obviously both starting out, so not crazy fit or anything, but trying to work together and help each other get the segment. I feel like I learned a lot of like kind of race principles just from doing that.
Totally.
Do you, because I know you do a lot of TrainerRoad workouts, Jeff, do you feel like you lose any, I mean, I know you've been doing it for a long time, but do you feel like you lose any like bike handling skills after being on the trainer for so long? Or, because for me, I haven't ridden outside probably in the last 4 months, so.
I'm always worried about that, and I think about it more often than I should. And then I go outside, and then I ride with a group, and I feel good again. I haven't done that this year because of COVID.
Right.
So this is a weird time that we're in right now. So this will be the longest time I haven't ridden with a group either. So it's a good question, but I don't think so, because I had an injury in 2017 and I didn't ride in a group for a long time, but I was still doing a lot of training. And I had a very similar feeling that I do now. Like, am I just gonna go outside and have all this fitness but nothing to do with it? Like, am I just gonna be terrified in a group? But it's like riding a bicycle. Oh wait, it is like riding a bicycle. You don't forget. Like, I just got in, and then the butterflies were gone, and then it was just like, oh, well, I'm gonna race, and I'm super focused, and I felt great. So I wouldn't stress about it. I think you're gonna do fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something I'm a little worried about too, because like I've never ridden a group ever, and I'm definitely getting stronger on TrainerRoad. But we'll see if I can keep my cool outside with people everywhere.
So you're like the perfect example then of this episode 5 idea that I have. And I think that's going to be a really valuable episode for you, because I want to talk about those skills, because that could be a dangerous combination. having a lot of fitness but no pack riding skills, like you can be dangerous to yourself and be dangerous to others if you really don't know what you're doing. So I'm going to go through the basics at first, and then I'm just going to talk about some higher level stuff that you can work on to really sharpen your skills and what differentiates, a guy who's done a handful of races to the guy who's consistently winning races and getting up to the P12 field.
That's like probably the first time you ever drive a sports car. You just get into it and you're like, got way too much power underneath you.
Yeah, and it's dangerous. Like if you're in a Pinto, you'd be fine, right?
Right.
Honestly, probably more worried about, making somebody else crash than crashing myself.
Right.
Well, one usually leads to the other, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I've watched enough of Jeff's crash analysis to hopefully know what not to do.
Yeah, that's true. In those moments, I like to kind of slow it down, obviously, and just think about like what I would think I would do in that situation.
A lot of people talking about this idea of going from inside to outside. Yeah, I think for people that have done it before, it's going to be like they're overthinking it. And then for guys like Stefan, I think that there are some basic fundamentals that you can follow and some really basic training tools like bump drills on grass, or like riding in a group and just going to the front and to the back, like I said. Or even your tip was good too. Just go out with a friend and ride 3 inches from his back wheel and feel that draft.
Yeah.
Because that's a question I get quite often too, is like, how do you know you're in the draft? And it's kind of a hard thing to describe because you can feel it. And if the wind is a little bit of a crosswind, you stagger a bit, so you're still in that pocket. And it's just a feeling. Like I'm not sensing the wind direction, I'm feeling where the wind isn't, and that's where I want to be, is where you're not feeling the wind.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised with the difference that makes, because in this particular scenario, we were out there and he was just killing himself in front of me, and I was just chilling in the back doing the walks.
Yeah, and he was probably doing 350 or something, right? Like it makes an enormous difference. Even if it's a flat road with no wind, it's like a 30% difference or something. And then once you throw in a small descent or a headwind, like if it's both, if it's a small descent and a headwind, for those of you who've never experienced a draft, like you could literally be riding the brakes behind somebody who is doing an all-out effort.
Yeah.
That's how much drafting makes a difference in this sport. And the faster you go, the more of a difference it makes. So you look at some of the average speeds that we do in the P12 field, and it's like 30 miles an hour, 31 miles an hour. And I could be sitting mid-pack, like this, 205 watts, having a conversation like I am right now, and you can have a guy on the front doing like 500 watts, maintaining that speed. And that's why strategy and that's why drafting are so important in this sport. Oh, a lot of questions. Thanks, guys. I use headphones when I ride outside, when I'm on a solo ride outside, which has been the last year. And just use one. Don't use two. That's a bad idea. And I use the one on the right so I can hear the road. And that's the passing lane, just like in cars, where cyclists should be passing on the left, not the right. So I'm always there listening, and I only have one headphone in.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful to hear the cars coming too.
Yeah, if you hear sirens or something, like you don't wear two headphones. That's a bad idea. All the Cat 5 racers in the Bay Area are 4 plus watts per kilogram, 300 plus watts FTP. Yeah, Victor Mora says that. We have a pretty competitive racing district, Victor. I mean, we churn out national champions pretty consistently. If it's not NorCal, it's SoCal with the Williams brothers just being like consistent national champs. So it's a good place to ride your bike, right? If you feel like you're king of the hill, then you're never going to improve. So it's nice to be surrounded with people that are faster and better than you are. And I always have that feeling too. So it's a good thing. What are my tips? I don't want to look bad, man. I have a highlight CX cycling. I have a trainings camp with the team next week, but the older guys are training 12 to 20 hours in good condition, but I only have 6 hours to train. So this is a good opportunity for you to play this little game that I like to play with myself in races, which is if you feel like you're outclassed, see how few watts you can do. Make it a little game with yourself. So like I said before, try to move up in the field and be in good position and be a factor in the race, but do it as efficiently as possible and always have that in your mind. So try to keep that average power as low as possible. When you're out with your buddies who are training 20 hours a week and you feel inadequate, stay in their draft. Only take pulls when it makes sense to take pulls, and just try to be as efficient as you possibly can. And that will impress them more than going out and smashing 500 watts or whatever it is. Yeah, Josh Hawkins, a little worried about the pandemic ending and then all these people coming from indoors to outdoors suddenly making super dangerous races and group rides. Yeah, I think everyone's a little bit concerned about that, but hopefully it's unwarranted. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think we're all going to bounce right back into it.
Well, yeah, and there's going to be a lot of new racers, you know, like myself. So definitely got a lot of learning to do.
Well, just if everybody watches Jeff's videos, we'll know exactly what to do.
Yeah, put that into practice, though.
Right.
I saw Zach asked earlier. Sorry, Zach, I forgot. If you're still on and you're listening, though, you asked about mountain biking. Zach's a local buddy. He's been at a lot of the Alviso videos. And yeah, I'd love to get into mountain biking. I have a gravel bike. In fact, if you can see in the video, there's part of it right there. The rest of it's coming on Monday. So, yeah, sneak peek. Now, gravel content's coming up, you guys. Kind of excited about it. New bike day. Get wireless earbuds. Maury. The cheapest ones you can find on Amazon. That's what I did. They work fine. How can I effectively refuel and refill for long rides alone? I'm always afraid to leave my bike and go get more water. I have refill locations like mapped out. I don't know about you guys. Well, you guys aren't riding outside just yet. It's too freezing cold.
Yeah, it's about 10 feet over my kitchen.
Yeah, yeah, that's the easy answer. Yeah. No, but like, I've been riding these roads in my area for a decade, and I have like every little water spigot, whether it's public or private, I have every little spot like mapped in my brain. And I will plan routes accordingly. So if I'm way out in the sticks, out in the woods, climbing in the mountains on a long day, I will consider the fact that I can't just go out for 4 hours without a break. So I make sure that after like a couple hours, I'm going to pass one of my water stops.
The other thing you could do is whatever loop you're doing, you could have it to where you just come back home.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't want to leave your, because I know that person was asking about leaving their bike, so that way you can go home, you know, put your bike somewhere safe, refuel, and head back out and smash.
Yeah, I do that when it's bad weather or potentially bad weather. I like won't go too far from home in case it starts hailing or something really bad. I can always just like bail and come home. DJ Bordeaux's got it. He's got the 5-step plan. In a crit, number 1, in a crit, always sprint for the last corner. Number 2, don't chase teammates. Number 3, only take pulls when necessary. Number 4, be smart. Number 5, have fun. It's pretty good. Number 2 is don't chase teammates. I think that should be number 3 also. Number 2 is don't chase teammates. Number 3 is don't chase teammates. Seriously.
Have teammates to chase in the first place. I'll be interested to see what kind of organization there is in a low-level race, because all the races I've seen have been, YouTube races or whatever, and they're all P1-2 races, well organized with teammates. So I'm excited to see what the actual chaos entails.
Your teammates, even if you have any, which you might not, are just going to be guys like buddies wearing the same jersey. And it'd be cool if you guys can do something to, or like organize some type of strategy, even if it's just like two of you. But I think more often than not, I've seen enough Cat 5 races. More often than not, it's just like chaos. Once the whistle blows, everyone's just like, "Oh my God, this is different than I expected. This is faster than I expected," and everyone's just kind of fighting to stay in the group and not get dropped.
Yeah.
But huge props and huge advantage if you can execute some type of strategy. Alfie asks my opinion about tubeless. Well, actually, I am going to be riding tubeless right there pretty soon, so I'll finally have some opinion on them, because I've never actually used them, believe it or not. A lot of my teammates do, and they swear by it. I just am used to tubes, and I just haven't switched over yet, but it's not because I'm like anti-tubeless or anything like that. I am anti-tubular, and I get into that topic on episode 4, which I'll be releasing in the next couple of days. But tubeless, it seems good. I don't know, we'll see. I have the kit right back there. I'll be getting into it.
So, Twin Turbo is asking about cadence in riding, and one thing I'll say is, in the TrainerRoad plan, they have plenty of cadence drills, so it's all optional. But I find that pretty helpful to mix things up and kind of mix up my cadence along the way.
Helps break up intervals too, especially if you have like 20-minute sweet spot stuff.
Yeah.
Spinning up a little bit, grinding for a little bit, helps make the time.
Yeah, I find that on training rides, and or just road races or training rides, longer rides, I will be at like kind of the 80 to 85 mark, usually around 80 actually. But then in a crit, I'll be more like 90, 95. I'll be much higher. And it's not because I'm actively thinking about it. It's just that's just the way it works out. I think it's much easier to accelerate when you have a high cadence. For TR rides that are too easy. Ha, good one, Ace. They're never too easy. If you're following a plan, so I take that back. There are some TrainerRoad rides that are easy. But if you're following a plan and it still feels too easy, then you need to retest, because your FTP probably isn't dialed in right. Because the days that are quote-unquote easy should be following a lot of days that are not easy, and it should be intentional. Like the easy days, like what we just did. Pettit is easy. But that's because Pettit usually follows a training block and a rest week, like Stefan's on right now.
Yeah, I'm like coming on the bike and I'm anticipating that I'm going to suffer, and then just Pettit or whatever.
And then the second part, higher variance or more intensity if the TrainerRoad rides are too easy. Follow a plan. It's hard to say without knowing anything, Ace, or what your goals are, or what your training background is. There's just too many variables. But I would say that if you're following a plan, they're pretty self-explanatory on TrainerRoad. So, like I have Logan doing sweet spot base, because he's time limited and you get a lot of bang for your buck. And then he's going to move to short power, so like Criterium. The Criterium build plan, and then the specialty plan as well. And we're on a plan builder too, so we're working towards a June race day, which I think I'll save until next week to make that public, because I'm not sure if it's 100% yet. But we do have a race, an A race in mind for June that I'm excited to share. We might be racing it together.
Is Logan doing sweet spot base 2 after base 1, or is he going to go into plan build or into the power build?
He's going to do 2 also.
The reason I ask is because I did what's it called, the plan builder And the way it worked out with the races that I had on the calendar, it did sweet spot base 1 to short power build to sweet spot space 2 back to another power build.
Yeah, so once we actually plug in his A race in June, we're going to let Plan Builder take over. But until we actually plug that in, I'm going to have him do sweet spot base 2. And that might change once we use Plan Builder for our A race. But he's going to do 2, and I think he is going to try medium volume. I think I'm going to let him make that call. But that's the way we're going to approach that. And then, yeah, like you said, once you plug in Plan Builder, it's on autopilot, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. You just follow the trainings as best as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Jacob, you're on to something. June equals Tulsa Tough, which may be September now. We'll have to look into that.
I think it's still June.
Okay. A says he just retested and they still feel easy. Well, retest again, dude. I don't know. Calibrate your power meter. If you're doing like following a plan and you're doing, anything higher than zone 3 and they feel easy, then retest again, calibrate your power meter. Something's not right, because they should not feel easy.
Yeah. That was how I discovered that my power meter was whack, was that I was doing sweet spot intervals, which for me is like 200 watts, and I was holding a heart rate of 125, and I was like, something's not quite right. So
yeah, you'll know. I mean, once you experience a plan, like I did a workout yesterday and I failed. And like I was discouraged, but like they should be that hard where you're like, I don't know if I can make this, sometimes I can't.
It's like just under the cusp of like not being able to complete.
Exactly. And that's how you know you're doing it right. I mean, you don't want to consistently fail workouts. And by the way, when I say fail workout, I mean like I still finished it, but it was a 7 interval set, and the last 2 intervals I had to take a break in the middle of it and backpedal and just catch my breath for a little bit, and then I still finished it, but it wasn't as designed, right? So that I consider that a failed workout. They're announcing in April, depending on the city health department. Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Is training sweet spot above threshold and endurance rides all combined efficient, or should I strictly sweet spot for 4 to 6 weeks and then switch? You should follow whatever the TrainerRoad plan tells you to. This is another one of those questions where I wish I could just give the answer, Tygo, but I don't know like where you're at with your training and what your goals are. So sweet spot is really good for base if you're doing like really heavy sweet spot. If you have a race planned in 6 weeks, then you should probably start thinking about doing more higher intensity stuff. But if it's like actual base miles, then yeah, like go real heavy on the sweet spot. And never completely neglect the other things. Like even during sweet spot, you still want to mix in like a little bit of zone 4, zone 5 work, but just sprinkle it in there. TrainerRoad does all this for you, right? That's why TrainerRoad is great, because you don't have to think about this stuff. I would like to race in the Netherlands, yes. Okay, a couple more questions, guys, and then I'm going to bail. I'm going to go record a video.
A said I'm new to the ramp test, so I think I tested low. Yeah, I've experienced that where you don't know your suffer threshold.
Yeah.
And the more ramp tests you do, the better idea you get of like where that really is and how you can push yourself. Like if you're not like I think Logan said in one of the Couch to Crit videos, he was like crawling to the bathroom like almost threw up kind of thing. So yeah, they should not feel like you want to do them again.
Yeah, you'll find out next week. This time next week, I'll be on all fours. Okay. Any more questions, you guys? You see any? I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Go until your legs turn to rubber. It's funny. I think the TrainerRoad guy said in one of their podcasts, like, whenever you think you're dead, like if somebody were to come up with like a gun to your head, like you always have another 10 seconds, right? Like there's always another 10 seconds. But you just go until you like actually can't turn the crank over anymore, If you can reach over and like press stop workout, then you're not going hard enough. I just go until like my legs seize up. Yeah. All right.
I'll keep that in mind.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm going to end the stream.
Thank you.
All right. Later, everybody.
Later.